Do you ever get that feeling like some days repeat themselves? It was certainly one of those days for me. I'd set the morning aside to help Dagoth move his prized Dwemer cog collection from one room to another, when he came and told me that they had to call the whole thing off. Apparently Dagoth, who'd also agreed to help, suddenly realized they'd double-booked. No matter. There was always tomorrow. But there never really is ever tomorrow, is there? You see, the next day when we were going to move the collection again, Endis came running down the halls of my mountain fortress just as I was getting out of bed to tell me that he had to cancel the move once more on account of a storm of cliff racers that had somehow made their way into his lair. I tried to reassure the poor ash vampire that we could easily dispatch the beasts, and that I wouldn't tell a soul that they even ever got in. But the poor clod was unassuaged. He took a deep sigh and simply said, tomorrow. So I set myself in front of my calendar, and foreseeing yet another contrivance, I booked the rest of the week off to help my poor friend Endis. Tomorrow came. Odros was under the weather. The next day came. Cliff racers again. It was becoming more and more apparent to me that Endis perhaps didn't actually need help moving his Dwemer cog collection at all. Maybe he was just feeling lonely. I took it upon myself to walk to his lair, all bundled up to shield myself from the awful torrent of cliff racer weather we were having, when I noticed him perched near a lava pool, head in hands, weeping almost uncontrollably. I say almost uncontrollably because when I shouted, Endus, for Azura's sake, get control of yourself, like a true friend, he gained his composure almost instantly. He turned to me, still sniffling and whimpering how he just wanted the cogs out of storage and on display for all his friends to see. He divulged that he actually truly admired everyone else's cog collection and wanted to keep his as pristine, shiny, and oiled as Odros's own bunch. It became immediately apparent that poor Endis had been feeling neglected, auxiliary, maybe even a little unneeded, and it was up to me to set things right. I put a bony, long-fingered hand on Endis's shoulder and told him exactly what I was going to do to help. I was going to get all the ash vampires together, and cliff racer storm or not, we were going to polish and spit shine each and every cog in his collection and move them to a place where everyone would get the chance to admire them. My very own Red Mountain Halls. His collection would be safe and secure with me, and I wasn't going to hear any objections. It was my turn to step up and be a truly good friend. Endis hung his head in shyness, but I knew I was doing the right thing. I rallied half of Red Mountain, and together we set to my dear friend's storeroom, hearing none of his protestations along the way. The crowd flung open the squeaky Dwemer doors to reveal not only a rusted old Dwemer cog collection, but some of the spiciest sixth house figurines I'd ever seen in my immortal life. We were stunned. These weren't just the little handhelds, these were the life-sized ash clay sculptures, but with all kinds of protrusions, spherical, cylindrical, tentacular, rectangular, and many even pyramidal. An entire landscape of geometric mystery had seemed to cement itself within the room's pungent recesses. Pretty sure I saw at least one full-out octagon stuck to an Argonian too. I really wouldn't have judged, but for the fact half his cog collection were slung daintily from the statue's many protrusions. I could feel the torrid shame of Endis's nervous sweat palpating the room as the crowd murmured off disgusted. And I turned to the ash vampire with a wrenched stomach of my own to say, you know, Endis, it isn't really even the statues. It's the smell. The simple truth was all ash vampires had a statue or two in the closet, but we at least had the decency to hose them down every once in a while. I left the door open as I walked off to let him think about how he dishonored the sixth house and the tribe unmourned, when he had the gall to state that he could have the statues cleared out and be ready to move the cogs tomorrow. Resignedly, I agreed, because deep down I knew there never really ever was a tomorrow. I was starting to learn to be at peace with the fact.